Hey everybody, welcome to this week's virtual garden story time. I'm here with one of my special friends, Miss Sue Ellen, and today we're going to talk about bees. We're in her garden. I went on a little adventure, a field trip of my own, to Miss Sue Ellen's garden, and we're going to visit her bees, and we're going to read a book called These Bees Count. Let's go.
Hi boys and girls, I'm going to read this story to you, and it's called The Bees Count. The author of this book is Allison Fermento, and the pictures were drawn by Sarah Snow. Ready? You probably recognize this is the inside of a beehive. Think about what the name of these shapes are. Maybe you know. These bees count. I bet you can count too. Think how high you can count. Mr. Tate's class loves taking field trips. Today, their bus went to a farm. Farmer Ellen led the class through a big field. There weren't any cows, no horses or sheep. There were only bees and tall, tall flowers. Amy picked a flower and she twirled it. Eli looked around. Is this a flower farm? Farmer Eli smiled. No, but we grow lots of wildflowers. They walked through a grove of blossoming apple trees. Is this a tree farm? Natalie asked. Trees grow here too, Farmer Ellen said. But at the Busy Bee Farm, we farm bees and honey. Honey tastes good, said Jake. Eli held on to Mr. Tate. Bees sting. Only when they're afraid or angry, said Farmer Ellen, and beekeepers always dress for safety before visiting the hives. Farmer Ellen took everyone to a small shed. Mr. Tate helped give out beekeeper gear. The children pulled white jumpsuits over their clothes. Shin smoothed the net over her face. Here comes the bride, she said. We look like astronauts, said Jake. I feel safe in here, said Eli. Farmer Ellen showed the class a field full of tall boxes. Welcome to the bee yard. These are bee houses or apiaries. Bees work? Jake said. Honeybees lived in these hives. Most of them fly out each day to do their work. Yes, they collect pollen. That's their work, which is tiny powder-like grains in flowers for their food. This powder is carried on their legs to crops, flowers, plants, and trees, and it helps them grow. Sharing pollen this way is called pollination. Sharing's good, said Shin. Farmer Ellen pushed a can with a long spout into a hole in the back of the beehive. This smoker will help us see the bees. She squeezed the handle and wisps of smoke puffed out. Hundreds of bees followed the smoke trail and flew into the air. Everyone watched and listened. This is what they heard. One by one, we zip up high, buzzing through the bright blue sky. We fly over 2 waving dandelions, inviting us to visit. We find 3 wild strawberries, busting with sweetness. 4 apple blossoms tickle us with soft petals. 5 poppies stretch tall, greeting us like best friends. We stop for a drink where 6 farmhands water a crop of raspberries. Bees sure get thirsty, said Jake. Shh, said Amy. They're still buzzing. We see 7 clovers dance in the sunlight. 8 flowering cherry trees shimmer pink and white. In the garden, 9 shiny pea pods flutter in the breeze. Before we fly home, 10 tulips stand and nod, thankful for our pollen. Buzzing, flying, working, we do more than you may know. Each of us is nature's farmer, helping food and flowers grow. What did you hear? Asked Farmer Ellen. Bees count, Shin said. Why else are bees important? Mr. Tate asked. They make honey, Natalie said. Yes, said Farmer Ellen, bees drink nectar, a sweet liquid from plants, and carry it back to their hives. Why? Asked Natalie. Juice inside the bee's stomach changes the nectar into honey, said Farmer Ellen. Bees spit the honey into a honeycomb made from beeswax. Then worker bees dry the new honey by flapping their wings faster than you can even blink. Jake and Natalie tried flapping their arms as fast as bees' wings. Amy knelt to watch a bee on each clover blossom. Bees sure are busy. Yes, said Farmer Ellen, and without bee pollen, crops wouldn't grow, and we wouldn't have any food to eat. Eli said, bees are nicer than I thought. Farmer Ellen smiled. It's time to check the hives. Everyone helped slide wooden frames from the bee house. They found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 golden honeycombs. Farmer Ellen said, to get the honey from the honeycombs, we'll use an extractor. This machine spins out the honey, which then flows into jars. We put a cap on really tight, and then we label the jar, all ready to take home. Before the class boarded the bus to leave, Farmer Ellen pulled jars from a crate. Would you like a gift from the bees? Sweet, said Jake. Thanks for honey, bees, shouted Natalie. And for helping plants grow, said Shin. A bee whisked past Amy's ear. She waved at it. Bzzz, to you too, she said. The end. Now that you've heard the story, boys and girls, I thought you might like to see the inside of a real hive. And this hive looks just about like the one in the story that I just read to you. But let's take a look inside. This part of the hive, the orange, yellow, white, and green part is called a super. And that makes it 4 stories tall. Inside each super, there are 8 frames. And we're going to look at the frames right now. Oh, do you remember in the story how they talked about the buzzing? Well, I can really hear the buzzing now. So I'm going to put this on to protect my face, just in case the bees start buzzing everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up. And you can see how active the bees are. See these? Now, let's see if we can pull out one frame. Remember, I said there are 8 frames in here. Let's pull one out. Oh, I can't get it. Okay, so here's a frame. And if we turn it around here, you can see, maybe, that the bees are already putting some honey in here. And right here is part of the honeycomb that they've built. Let's see if there's another frame that has even more honeycomb on it. Oh, yes. So let's put this one down. And we'll take out the one next to it. Remember, there's 8 in each story. You see this one? All the honeycomb is built. And remember, on the inside of our book, I asked you what that shape was. I bet you knew that it was a hexagon. You can see all the hexagons that the bees have made to build their hive. And now, I think I'm going to put these back because you know, we are interrupting the bees while they're busy working and making their honey, and we're disturbing them a little bit. Now, some people use their hives to take the honey out, and they sell the honey in the grocery store or farmers markets. But my honey stays in the hive all year long. And do you know why that is? It's because the bees eat the honey. That's their food. That's the real reason why they're making all this honey, is to feed themselves and all their babies. The babies are called brood. So the brood needs the honey, especially in the winter time when there aren't any flowers growing. And so all my honey stays inside. So the bees will have a lot of food. Okay? Now we're going to put this back and close it up. And then they'll calm down and be a little happier, and they can go about their work and not have to worry about me anymore. Okay, that's what bees do.